This report is a decade late, and it's an absolute shame on this government to let it get so far and to then have the audacity to rise today and talk about the steady improvements over a decade. This report clearly shows how absolutely terrible Tasmania's environment is actually doing. As much as this report articulates the terrible state of numerous ecosystems, it also has some absolutely tremendous recommendations that have been called for many, many, many years. It's like a blueprint straight out of the Greens policy handbook, and things that environmentalists have been calling for. One that is particularly important for Tasmania to be playing its global role in mitigating climate change is recommendation number 4. And I spoke about this last night on the adjournment. I think I might have accidentally said recommendation 14 because I was doing it off the top of my head. If I did do that, I apologise. It's number 4. And that is to update Tasmania's resource management, its RMPS, objectives to reflect those of the agreements around COP15. Now, these are based on biodiversity principles. That is incorporating the importance of intact, functioning ecosystems and rich biodiversity into all the decisions that we are currently making. That is looking at land use strategies. I'm so glad Mr Ellis has an interest in the PETA debate. That is 57 megawatts for 242 square kilometres of otherwise carbon sequestering endemic peat soil. Is that the best use? There are other ways to mitigate climate change. It's not 100% about renewable energy. We also have to have intact, functioning ecosystems. That is the balance that we need. That is what some of these recommendations are helping us to achieve. Recommendation number 10, increasing terrestrial protected areas. That is the role that Tasmania needs to be playing on the global front. We have right here in this state some of the most magnificent ancient carbon sequestering forests up in Takina that should be protected as part of the World Heritage Area, as part of the TWA. Leaving them unprotected is neglecting the role that Tasmania has to be playing. We can't point the fingers elsewhere if we can't even do what we're supposed to be doing right here in Tasmania. That also includes areas like the Spiro Wanderer Wilderness that has so much been left untouched due to its wild nature. That is intact ecosystems that we actually don't have much of elsewhere on the island that need protecting. Obviously, we need to do an incredible amount of work on invasive species, and I'm really looking forward to budget estimates to drill down into exactly what this government is investing. But recommendation 13 of this report, remove protections on fallow deer. It is so obvious. You can pour all the money that you want at it. If we cannot do the basic fundamentals like remove those ridiculous protections, we're not going to get the progress at the speed that we actually need. Recommendation number 8 is also really, really important, and that is to improve native vegetation mapping. We currently have massive holes in some of the areas, and that includes our wetlands, which are absolutely critical in terms of helping naturally mitigate things like the increasing rising tides that we're going to be seeing under climate change and flooding as well. We have to be monitoring these ecosystems so that we know what the baseline is, so that moving forward we have those goals and ambitions to protect and maintain them in their natural functioning system. So all of these recommendations are really good, and it is in this government's best interest to ensure that we do recommend them, that they recommend them, that they implement them in full, and that they fully resource them as well, because that is the duty that we have not only to future Tasmanians, but to all future generations on this planet.